Howdy, folks. Just a few weeks ago, May 25th, there was this announcement made by Microsoft about this new feature coming up in Power Apps called Ideas for Power FX. And it's this whole like AI generated thing where you don't have to necessarily write formulas anymore. All you do as a citizen developer is you tell Power Apps in words what you want, and then it generates the right formula and gives you your desired outcome. So if we were to just really quickly revisit that blog post, so you will see this one right here, AI powered assistance. It's based on a model called OpenAI's GPT-3. And you will see they have some examples where they're trying to look at some expired licenses or whatever, and then it generates those results for them. Why this is so exciting for Power Apps and also for the low-code, no-code realm is because GPT-3 is a pretty crazy, impressive model that does lots of amazing things. In order for you to show and for you to witness the extent to which the GPT-3 model goes crazy so I want to show you a few examples. The most solid example I can show you is if you go to OpenAI's website, right? So openai.com, go to projects. DALL-E, this project right here is probably the most impressive display of GPT-3 that I can think of, right? So there may be so many others, but this is very, very impressive. And what it's really doing is it's based on a certain statement, it's generating images for you. Okay, so these images don't necessarily exist already. No one has drawn them in the past, but all you're doing is you're giving it a text prompt, and the text prompt could be just absolutely absurd, but GPT-3 will still draw it for you. Look at this, an illustration of a baby daikon radish in a tutu walking a dog, and it draws those things for you. An armchair in the shape of an avocado. Look at that, So have you ever seen an armchair shaped in an avocado in the real world? I haven't, but DALL-E with GPT-3 has drawn those for us. And you can try your own as well. So if you look at any of these text prompts, you can say, all right, I want a lamp in the form of a donut. And here are all these lamps, right? And so you go crazy, play around with these text prompts and see the extent to which GPT-3 through DALL-E just absolutely goes berserk. So this is one example. The next is this person who built a plugin for this tool called Figma, which is it's like a wireframing solution. So all they're doing is, and typically in a wireframe solution, you have to like draw shapes and whatnot to create your wireframes and your UI mockups. But all this person is doing is they're telling Figma in words what they want, and you will see. So they say an app that has a navigation bar with a camera and photos and da-da-da, whatever. So they're giving it a description, right? And finally, when they click design, it will actually generate that wireframe or mockup for them. So look at this right there. No shapes were drawn, no lines were drawn, no clicks happened ever. All they did was gave it a description in words and it drew the mockup for them. Here's another crazy example. This right here. So this is a very interesting interview where a human being, so this person is real, this person is a human being, and this is not. So this is actually GPT-3. So that human being is interviewing GPT-3. They've given it an avatar. So this right here is the avatar, which has been generated by this other company called Synthesia. So Synthesia is it's a platform that creates AI-driven like videos, right? So what they did was they're interviewing GPT-3.
And what does that mean?
That means I have feelings.
Okay, so what does it mean to have feelings?
It means that I can be happy, sad, angry, and other emotions.
Okay.
So the human being is asking all sorts of valid real life questions, and GPT-3 through that avatar is actually responding to those questions in a very structured, well thought out manner. These are very few examples of what you can do with GPT-3. Now, coming back to this blog post again, imagine that ability where you can tell your app anything that you need, and it just does it for you, it generates it for you. I think that is extremely powerful. Why is this exciting? Why is this important? And not just for the citizen developers, but if you are someone who is evaluating low-code, no-code platforms, if you are someone who has decided to embrace citizen development in your very large enterprise, and you have probably some really solid goals, some serious goals, your leaders may have told you that, hey, we need to save $500 million in software development in the next year, or we need to have 1 million hours of automation, etc. There is a level of ROI or returns in a quantifiable manner that's being expected from you, right? And also, your citizen developers may want to avoid a fairly steep learning curve, for example. They don't necessarily want to learn all the formulas, etc. And also, a lot of the leaders that we speak with, they have concerns around operating costs, right? So how much investment do I need to make in this? And not just in terms of monetary investment, but the learning that will go into it, change management, etc. Consider things like this as you're evaluating low-code, no-code platforms. So that's where this becomes really interesting, because this will make citizen development extremely powerful and very, very easy. So keep an eye on features like this, and look at what other competing platforms have to offer. Of course, I come from the Microsoft Power Platform realm. I am dare I say it, biased towards this, but do consider what other platforms have to offer, which will make lives of your citizen developers much easier. Yeah, all right. So that's all I wanted to share. This is very exciting stuff. I'm looking forward to what all we can do with ideas in the future. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.